this is Tom Holland from Spider-Man Far From Home. I would just like to let everyone know that my good friend JT Dubs was unable to be in this episode of the Film Pod. So instead, his good friends Ivan and Lauren are going to do it for him. And I must say, they do an absolutely fantastic job in this episode. They're very funny, and they do an amazing, perfect interpretation of what my movie, Spider-Man Far From Home, really is about. JT Dubs is not available today because of the fact that he's producing a movie right now. It's actually something that we can't really talk about, but the promo should be out next month sometime. So enjoy the episode. Hip hip cheerio.
Hey everybody, this is Ivan Lichtenstein.
And I'm Lauren Gaston.
And JT Dubs is not here because he is busy shooting a promo for a short film that he has coming up. But right now I am taking over for JT Dubs. So I'm both Ivan Lichtenstein and JT Dubs. I'm Ivan Dubs.
Yeah, not just me.
And Lauren is Lauren. And we're all human. All right, so let's start it off. So like always, we're gonna be reviewing a new classic and garbage movie. And let's start off with our new movie. So the new movie that we have coming up, well, not coming up since it's already been released, but the new movie that we are reviewing that's coming up right now is Spider-Man Far From Home.
It's probably my favorite one so far. Favorite Marvel movie. Okay, so the evolution of the actors for Spider-Man, Tom Holland has to be my favorite.
Okay, here's the thing. I think I agree with you in a way. Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man and he's a great Spider-Man, great Peter Parker. I feel like Tobey Maguire was an amazing Peter Parker and a great Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield was just
trash. I don't want to talk. We don't talk about that.
Right.
We don't talk about that on this podcast
he gave
at all.
Emma Stone a bad name.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think how great Emma Stone is as an actress is now and like all the stuff she's appearing in. But then you remember like, oh yeah, she was in that movie.
The Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield that nobody liked.
Yeah, the movie that we don't even mention the word Spider and Man in.
Treated it as the name who shall not be spoken of.
But now that we're past Spider-Man Andrew Garfield version, we are here in this new phase of Marvel. Well, not that Amazing Spider-Man was a part of Marvel, but with this new phase of Marvel, we have introduced a new Spider-Man movie. The previous one being Spider-Man Homecoming, which everyone thought was great, including myself. Mm-hmm. For me, who was not the biggest fan of superhero movies, I thought it was pretty great.
I highly recommend this new Spider-Man because Tom Holland, he plays such a good Peter Parker and Spider-Man because he actually portrays the young persona that he really is. Like with Tobey Maguire, you obviously knew that man was a grown-ass man. But they still played it off like he was some teenager living at his Aunt May's house.
Yeah, and like with this new movie, you see him finally like step out of that New York area and go explore the world for the first time on a study abroad trip for high school, which is a lot more believable as Tom Holland playing Peter Parker than Tobey Maguire doing that. Because if I saw that like in the second or first Spider-Man or third, I would be like, wait, what?
Yeah, right, exactly. Not just some stay-at-home, neighborhood Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. That's what they did with the first one, and with the second one, they made him actually, see the world. That he's not just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's got to be an Avenger now.
Yeah. So, what did you think of Spider-Man Far From Home?
I thought the plot was really great, and a lot of the action with it was really good, and we'll get to that because I paid a lot more attention to the other movies in some of the small things, like our garbage movie, okay? The background acting was really nice. It wasn't just like scattered about, it actually fit with the scenes. The storyline was really good. I don't think it's been a month since it's been released, so I'm going to try my best not to do spoilers. But
for Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah.
Here's my take on that. If you have not seen Avengers, Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and you really want to see Spider-Man Far From Home, see Endgame first, then Far From Home. Trust me. Like
it'll make a lot more sense.
And also you'll be like ridden of spoilers.
Oh yeah, and it like what's so crazy is that it kind of answers a lot of questions that we had about certain things about what happened at the end of Infinity War and throughout Endgame. You know what I'm saying? It was like there was that question of what happened when everyone disappeared and all that stuff randomly. It's like,
I feel like we could spoil Avengers Endgame in this stream.
well, we could spoil Endgame, but it's like I don't want to spoil the beginning of Far From Home.
Yeah, but the beginning of Far From Home is a spoiler.
To Endgame? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Basically, they talk about spoiler warning for Avengers Endgame, and a little bit of the end of Infinity War, I guess. But basically, once Thanos snapped his fingers, the blip happened. People disappeared, but then at the end of Endgame, the blip came back and everyone appeared again.
yeah, and it's like at the beginning of Spider-Man, they all disappeared and then they just reappeared. And like some of them were older and some of them were not. And it's wild, It's like
Mm-hmm.
that answered so many questions. I was like, I wonder what happened to everybody. Did you know?
Yeah, and like the more you go like into the movie, it is a Spider-Man movie, but there are a lot of callbacks to like I think Avengers as a whole, and also just other Marvel movies as well.
Right.
Did you notice that kind of with well, I kind of and like what did you think of it? Did you think the movie was good, bad, or like?
Endgame?
No, like Far From Home, because I feel like
Oh,
it didn't
Far
really
From
get
Home?
your.
It was a good movie. It was.
It was fine. I would say like I don't know. I have a lot of things about it that it does a lot of things that are
Okay.
really great.
The thing that
Then
I didn't like. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ivan.
oh no, I was just saying there's a lot of things in that movie that I think are really great, but then there are a lot of things that I think like detract it.
Right. Right. Okay. Talk on that, man, because
Um,
I always like to listen to your critiques.
well, I don't want to start off with critiques. I want to start off like with some of the positives. Well, one of the things I was excited about was that they were taking it out of New York because I feel like a lot of the times with all these Marvel movies, you see them always kind of in a big city with big buildings crowding around them, and there's not really a lot that goes into the environment of the area they're in. Whereas in like Far From Home, they're in Europe and they're in London, and then he's in the Netherlands and he's in Austria and all these other countries in Europe.
Right.
And it really shows like that how big of a universe you can take this whole series as. And I do
Right.
want to put a lot of appreciation into that they made that choice. A lot of the characters in this movie are really great. Jake Gyllenhaal was fantastic.
I thought the same thing, man.
Yeah, for like
Mysterio, he
he's
really
a
betrayed. Yeah, dude. The whole plot just like twisted my brain like into a mind bend, man.
see that's where I didn't think it was like I didn't think it was like that. In okay, so are you saying like it's predictable in that way or like
Yeah,
kind of
like
like
you
the
like because of the comic books. Because I knew that Mysterio. I knew that Mysterio was not a good guy. So
oh, so you have a oh go ahead, sorry.
you're fine. So like already having an idea of what kind of person Mysterio is. When I went into the movie, I was like, why are they portraying him as a good guy? He's a bad guy. Something bad's gonna happen. Something bad's gonna happen. And it did.
You know what's interesting about that is that you have that whole comic book perspective, so you know what's going to happen based off what you've read.
Right.
I didn't, so I barely saw a trailer for this movie. I may have seen a couple of clips,
Mhm.
but I've seen a lot of the posters though, and from what the posters say, I'm thinking, oh, Mysterio is the bad guy. And this is one of my critiques coming in. Jake Gyllenhaal is great. I'm not like saying anything about that, but the way they sequence the movie as it starts off as him being this good guy, and he's like trying to do the good things, and he's teaming up with Nick Fury. I immediately thought he was the bad guy, like just
Right.
from what I've seen in the trailer, like clips of the trailer, what I've seen in the posters. So I just feel like that whole sequence of him like turning against them didn't really like flesh out too
And
well.
the reason why I feel like you knew that that was going to happen, even without that comic book perspective, because of the fact that you know that Marvel is so predictable like that's the kind of things that they do in a plot twist. It seems to happen like all the time. It's very common.
And that's one of my things. Like, it's like going back to what I said. Like, it's so great. There's a lot of really great things. Like, he's seeing the world and he's seeing all these things, and the characters are great. And then you have something like this happen where it's predictable, and it just kind of like lessens the value of that. If that makes any sense.
Right. And I think it's because of the fact that the lesson that they're trying to teach, they were trying to teach Spider-Man to like be brave because, all these adults were coming at him and like, you're an Avenger now, you have these responsibilities. Are you going to live up to be Tony Stark? Are you going to be the next Iron Man? He chose you. Da 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 da. And it's like, this dude's a kid, like he's he's just a child in this movie. And
Was it
like the story is that they're trying to teach him to grow up faster.
basically like that's like one of the biggest things I got was just like growing up and like be getting out of that shell of being a hormonal high school teenager and like taking on this big responsibility of working for the Avengers.
Right.
Which, not saying I can relate, but it's like not an easy task at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, if you can use that as like an allegory for life, like getting a big job at a big position or working for a company. It's like from the start of like being like 17, 18 years old, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So I feel like a lot of people could relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to hark on back to your point on what you were talking about with him trying to give the glasses to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Was it not an eye-rolling scene where he just
It
put
was.
on the glasses and he's like, you should get, we puts the glasses on Mysterio and Peter Parker's like, you should take the glasses because you're the next person.
You're
But it's
the
like,
adult.
no, but it's like, no, you just put them on him because he kind of resembles Tony Stark in a way.
And because of the fact that you're just dealing with the loss of Tony Stark.
Yeah, I just felt like it was a really weak, like, climactic point.
I was just like, man, you're being stupid. Like, you have this multi-million-dollar pair of sunglasses that can do anything and everything that you ask for, and you're just gonna give them up to this guy that you just met because you miss Iron Man? Hell no, I wouldn't be giving it to anybody. I'd be hanging on to that crap for the rest of my life. Are you kidding me?
One of the other things too is, did you feel like there was too much comedy in the movie?
Yes.
Well, not too much comedy, but there was, for me, a comedy happened at a certain point where I thought it shouldn't have been happening.
Mm-hmm.
And like I get like they're teenagers and like they joke a lot, but like I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's like a pretty big scene, like the Marvel predictable like big action scene that happens at the end before everything gets resolved.
Right.
So like when they're in that little, they're like, it's like basically like all the majority of the characters in this one space and they're trying to hide from this bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean. I'm not gonna get too into it.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was a little like tongue in cheek almost.
And I'm gonna take what you say and I'm gonna kind of put it in my words. Basically, what you're saying is like because of the fact that it was comical for teenagers because it was more smartassy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel I could see like the teenage audience like watching this and like appreciating it.
Yeah, and in the way that the things were handled, and in like, the main scene when like the big thing is about to happen to attack the backup characters.
Yeah.
They took it and kind of it wasn't serious.
Yeah, that's Spider-Man though. Like,
And I kind of felt like he was running away a lot too.
But he had a reason to.
Right.
And that reason was because he didn't want anyone to like actually A, be in danger, or B, coinciding with that, revealing his identity.
Mm-hmm. Fucking
so
night monkey. I was like, what kind of name is that?
I also like. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the action scenes because I felt like that they were really, really well done.
Yeah, they were
for a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't over edited, and like I said, with the whole mind bend thing, it was like all Marvel ever does is like destruct cities, But with the mind bend, it's like it never really even happened because of the equipment that he had. Think about it.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's basically what it is.
Just, I feel like this is probably one of the, like, in my opinion, this is probably my favorite Marvel movie. It has to be in the top 3.
I mean, I don't.
You don't really like Marvel.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of like what I would say. I guess. Okay, do the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans count in that universe then? Because it's like one of the earlier phases, but yeah, it does.
You're
I would
right.
say because I would say honestly the first 2 Spider-Man movies are in that universe. Spider-Man. God, it's so hard. I'm not gonna say top 3. I'm gonna say 3 favorites: Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Volume 1.
Yeah, my top 3 Marvel movies, Spider-Man became number 1. Number 2 is Doctor Strange, and then number 3 is also Guardians of the Galaxy number 1.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Those are my 3 favorite. Like, I didn't even think the Thor movies could top that Doctor Strange movie. That was just like on point. Benedict Cumberbatch, he's amazing. He did such a good job. And again, looking from the comic side of the story, it was just so like spot on. They did so well with that movie.
Doctor Strange is probably one of my least favorite Marvel movies, but that's a conversation for another time, probably after
Okay.
the stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like Spider-Man Far From Home, if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, watch that first if you want to see Far From Home. Unless you don't care about spoilers, then by all means go see Far
Okay,
From Home.
before we move on to our classical movie, I just wanted to ask
Our classical movie?
right, the classic movie, the classic, the classic. Man, with that piano solo he had, you can't tell me that's not classical. Anyway, but before we move on and get off of Spider-Man, how did you feel about the in-scene movie scene, the in-movie scene, where they show during the credits?
Oh, I
You
didn't
didn't
watch
see
that.
it?
No, I don't ever I just always look them up. I don't because I don't watch Marvel movies anyway. So
So
it's
you
like
know what happened, right?
no, I don't. You
Okay,
have to.
I'll tell you after the stream. But for
Okay.
y'all who haven't seen it, his whole life is about to change, and that's all I'm gonna say.
I can always
Okay.
look it up too.
Yeah.
There's that.
Well, you just all right. Let's move on. Time for the next one.
All right. So Lauren, what would you give Spider-Man Far From Home?
I'm gonna give it a good 8.5 out of 10 stars.
Okay. I'm gonna give Far From Home a 6 out of 10. So it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Yeah. Well, you've always been the type that likes the I wouldn't not action movies.
Well, I mean, you'd be surprised because I actually gave Homecoming. You didn't know me then, but I gave Homecoming an 8 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was great. And like this movie wasn't bad, but I just didn't think it was.
I feel like Homecoming was better than Far From Home. I agree with you.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that was
Marvel!
Spider-Man Far From Home. Now we're going on to our classic movie. And Lauren, would you like to introduce and talk a little bit about an intro for our classic movie?
All right. So the classic movie is The Hangover. We all know about this iconic, crazy movie. It's been well over 10 years since this movie came out, so I am not going to give a flying crap about spoiling this movie.
Oh, no.
Okay. If you haven't seen it, then obviously you just need to get with the program because they just put it on Netflix. But The Hangover is about this guy Doug, who is getting married, and his buddies are taking him out for his bachelor night, his bachelor party in Las Vegas. And then he takes his wife-to-be's brother, Alan, and then there's Stu and who did Bradley Cooper? What was his name?
I've always just known them as the
Bradley.
actors.
Yeah. Well, it's like
because the thing is that they got so famous after that movie. Well, I mean, Ed Helms was already in The Office, but like
yeah.
But like every single time I referred to them, I was like, "Oh, Bradley Cooper, Zach Galifianakis,
Right.
and Ed Helms." that's one of the things about this movie is that I've noticed is that as much as I've seen it, I could never remember their names except for Doug.
Doug, because of the song.
Yeah.
I don't know the actor's name to him, so I just call him Doug.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so Zach Galifianakis, he drugs their Jägermeister with roofies, thinking that it's ecstasy, and then they wake up with a huge ass hangover, and they don't know what happened, and apparently they did a whole bunch of crazy shit, lost Doug, when apparently the whole time he was on the roof of the hotel. I would never be their friends again.
It was a hangover that was pretty bad.
I guess.
One of the interesting things about this movie is that it made a lot of money when it came out.
Oh yeah.
But it's so weird because it kind of came out in that same vein, I think, of Avatar, because they were both released in 2009.
Right.
So why did this movie make so much money?
I feel like this movie made so much money because this was one of the very first vulgar movies that was allowed in the movie theater. Think about it, because this is really, I mean, if you think about it, this is really when raunchiness, like, kind of got out there publicly. Because, I mean, we've always had TV shows like Family Guy, The Simpsons, but it was never, like, out there.
I feel like it has always been out there, but this is the first time I think it hit a mainstream pretty well.
Really?
Because if you look at movies like the South Park movie that was in theaters or anything like that, like it was in theaters, but that was specifically made for people who like South Park. Whereas I think The Hangover was made for like, oh, everyone's watching this.
Mm-hmm. That's understandable. Like they were trying to make something new, raunchy, and honestly, if you want my opinion, I don't think that this movie should have had a sequel.
Oh, I mean, that's like one of those classic cases of like movies that shouldn't have sequels. It's like, for me, it's like Jurassic Park.
Yes.
And The Hangover.
Agreed.
But with this movie, it's a lot of people said it was original, and I'm like, yeah, but it's also kind of like a more raunchy version of Dude, Where's My Car?
Hey.
It's basically what it is.
That used to be one of my favorite movies.
It's like you don't know what's going on. There are two or more characters,
right?
And there's a resolution at the end.
And it's because the fact that they're having to find something.
Yeah, they're seeking something out. There's an objective within both those movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically just the more raunchy, more popular, better version of Dude, Where's My Car?
And question. So in the movie, am I the only one who like knew from the beginning, like even before like the very first time you ever saw it, that Doug was on the roof? Because like, I mean, why else would there be a mattress on the top of the building if they were already out there to begin with? So obviously they had access to be up there. And then I think another thing that I have a question about is, did you think that... All right. I'm trying to think of how to word this because I'm not that smart. So, with Ed Holmes, who played Stu, and the crazy like fiance or whatever, I kind of felt like that was predictable with him being the one who was the most wild.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really... That was like one of the things in the movie that wasn't really set up that well looking back at it.
Right.
Like, it was just really... Because the whole movie just pretty much centered on one objective, finding Doug, and everything that kind of along with it. And I feel like everything out of it was just not that well set up. So I think the whole thing with his fiance was kind of like bad, but it also in a way sets up the sequels.
And another thing is that with this movie, it was good. Like, they were very good with how the movie played out, but I felt like there was way too much going on. You know what I'm saying?
But that's like kind of like one of the things that I kind of like about it in a way. I know
the fact that they fucked up so bad.
Yeah, because like it's weird because I criticize that so much that something's going on too much in the movie, but I feel like the script's written in a way where you as the audience is watching it and you're kind of like unraveling, like, okay, what is going on? Why is this happening? Oh my god, why is this happening? Because you're in the mindset of those characters in the same vein.
Right.
Like,
Right.
oh, like why is there a naked Asian person in the back of my car? He got a huge career out of that one scene.
Oh yeah, he was like, man,
Like,
to heck with being a doctor. He made a comedy. He made a comedy special about it, stand-up special
yeah,
about how he just decided to be like full-time comedian because he hated being a doctor so bad.
really, that's funny.
He said The Hangover is literally what got him into acting. He
It
said,
did.
mhm,
Like, it basically without that movie, like without him in that movie, like he would
no
have
one
no
would know him.
career in comedy. Yeah.
I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, like that. It's like, but that's like one of the things too. Like you remember like certain key points, like oh, the naked Asian guy in the car. You remember the baby. You
The tiger
remember
in the bathroom.
the tiger in the bathroom.
Mike Tyson's the tiger in the bathroom.
And that's like one of the weird things with this movie is that like if you're looking at it, like what do you think of it actually? Like, do you think it's good, bad?
I think I give it a 5 out of 10.
I would give it higher. I know it sounds crazy, but like,
But that's just because of the fact that me, with the way I am and the way that I was taught, like raised, seeing those kinds of movies, I'm totally okay with it. But it's like I can't help but like hide behind my face and like peek at the same time because I was taught that kind of stuff is bad. You shouldn't be watching that. That'll corrupt your brain. And so, like, I'm modest to the idea of those types of raunchy movies. That's why I've never seen, like, any of the American Pie series or anything like that, you know?
well, here's my thing with that is that those movies are just using raunchiness as the joke.
Right.
Whereas I feel like with The Hangover, there's raunchiness for sure, but I feel like there's like more to it than like that being the joke.
My favorite part of the whole movie was Mike Tyson. Stop. This is my favorite part of the song. And then while they're singing, he just cold knocks him and knocks his
No.
ass out.
Like Mike Tyson has an amazing punch, like in real life. I don't know if you've ever seen like those like videos of him sparring, but like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
crazy.
He's strong.
Like it was just, but that's like one of the things that's just so random. Like, could you imagine
Right.
like writing this movie, thinking like, okay, what are we gonna do next? And
Let's
then
just
one
have
of the
Mike
writers,
Tyson show up and this be his tiger.
yeah, like, and that's like, it's like what you're watching that as the audience,
Or
and you're
them
like,
getting tased. It's like they kind of gave the persona that cops are just that much of an asshole.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy, like looking at that movie and thinking like, wow, like all these things are happening, and they're like, you still remember them like 10 years later.
Right.
That's
And
like one
it's
of the things I get props for. Like,
I
you know,
honestly,
as dumb as this movie is, as stupid as this movie sounds, I remember it.
right, and it's like with this movie, I remember watching it in the movie theater, and I only watched it again just cause it was on Netflix. But it's like I could have done this review on the Hangover and had not needed to watch it.
I rewatched it just like get a rating for it because I
Exactly.
remember like the last time I watched it was like on my iPod Nano, and that was it.
Me too.
Yeah,
I went.
I feel like a lot of like
I
younger kids saw
remember-
this movie when it came out, including myself, that
Oh,
weren't supposed to
yeah.
see it.
I think I
And-
was still like. I think I was just getting into the 6th grade whenever this movie first came out. No, it came out in 2009. I was in the 4th grade when this movie
Really?
came out. Yes, I was that
I'm-
young.
I'm old.
Well, I mean, I'm only
I was in-
20.
I'm 22. Like, but I was in 6th, 7th grade, so I guess it was just a weird year, like birthday thing going on.
Right.
But yeah, no, because I remember like everyone at my school was like, "Did you see The Hangover? Have you heard of The Hangover? Have you heard of The Hangover?" And it's like, what is this Hangover? And then I watched it. I was like, "Oh, this makes sense."
We went to go watch it in the movie theater, and then when my mom started actually paying attention, we walked right the heck out.
I love how like at what point did your mom start paying attention?
I think it was right when they had just found the baby.
Really? That's
Yeah,
kind of.
because
I mean,
my mom was on
that's
her
early.
phone the whole time.
I feel like also like, why did your mom take you to that movie though?
She didn't read anything about it. And not only
Wow.
that, but she had
Not even from the poster.
she had my brother and his friends with them, and they were younger. They were your age. And then
Really?
it was just me, her, and then all the boys. So it was like they stayed, but me and my mom, she made me leave.
That movie is so
I
funny.
guess she
Like,
didn't think that it would be that bad. I was surprised that she wasn't listening.
yeah, because they said a bunch of stuff earlier on too.
Right, right. But like I said, that's what happens when they don't pay attention. And then I remember I bought it on my purple iPod Nano with the little camera on the back of it.
Oh, I just did my LimeWire days of downloading it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's how I got it.
Um, I thought that it was crazy how they had to go into the casino and win $80,000. I thought that was well played because you have to think, gambling, it's not illegal, but it's frowned upon. And if you figure out how the cards are played, like you could get kicked out and banned from that casino forever.
Well, one of the things like I see that's like one of the things I didn't like about that scene is that like how he like read that whole book and learned everything in like a day and then just did that. I'm like, what?
Well, apparently, if you remember a little bit, he was already good at that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's right.
It was just blackjack that he didn't know about because his wife to be, Doug's wife to be, was like, "Hey, don't let Alan drink a lot or gamble a lot," because he had already had a problem with both. And
That's true.
see, I already knew that they were going to get extremely trashed because of Alan, because Alan was already trying to be like, cool to get their attention. Zach Galifianakis. He played that character really well too. He was my favorite character. He made the whole movie just
He
like
really did.
hilarious.
Like it's just like in going on again. I can't get over like these memorable lines. Like, did Caesar live here at Caesar's palace?
Yeah.
Or things like that. It's just like it's so dumb but so funny when you still remember it like after all these years. I don't know. It's like one of those movies that like I think it got way too popular. That's what happened to it, and that's why a lot of people kind of like don't like it as much anymore,
Mm-hmm.
or like the sequels that much anymore.
It was forgotten about.
So I think we should also kind of. Have you seen the sequels?
No.
Okay.
I saw the first 10 minutes of the second one, and I was like, I don't want to watch this.
The second one I think is good. I mean, it's not as good as the first, but basically it's just the first one in like a different country.
Yeah.
Except the third one's the worst. It's so bad.
Really?
Yeah, like it's just so like it just takes a right turn really fast.
All right.
And like I thought it was funny too because they actually planned to not do any more after the third one. They were just like, we're done. We're not doing any more.
And
Like they actually
anyway.
they closed it after the third one. They were just like, we're not doing any more sequels.
Good.
Yeah. Because I think
I kind of like this movie kind of reminded me of the 21-22 Jump Street series.
Except those movies are very like coy and like they are self-aware of themselves.
Yeah.
This movie I think is not, but it does a really good job of like within like what it's doing as far as a comedy movie goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing. I feel like there's really not as much to say about The Hangover because
Just because the fact that all the plots in the movie are so big and major, there's nothing really small to talk about that you'd point out. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's just so bold and out there.
Yeah, it's so strange. It's just like, yeah, you're kind of right of that. Like I feel like everyone kind of who's seen it like knows everything about it. There's nothing too analytical you can get on it. It's not one of those movies.
It's one of those
has a
movies that
universe.
it's hard to forget.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I was saying before. It's nothing like too analytical that you can't not forget something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those movies you can like watch. In my honest opinion, you can watch mindlessly, and everything you need to get within that one watch of it.
You know, I think I'm gonna say this from a non-sober mind. The reason why it's like that is because I don't think it matters. I think the point of this movie is no matter what kind of situation you're in, whether you're watching this movie drunk, high, some fucked up in some kind of way, sober, whatever, they made it to where that it was at least eye-catching enough at all times that you can't forget it.
Yeah, like even like the Mike Tyson scene, the naked Asian guy scene.
Getting tased by the cops.
Yes,
The
it's
gamble.
all like vivid in my
Them
mind.
getting shot up at the church whenever they found out that Stu got married.
Yeah,
The
like
ending scene when they showed all the nude pics.
yeah, it's the Hangover. Like it's good, but there's not like
That's really all we can say about it, is that it was good.
yeah, like I was watching it and I was like thinking like, is there gonna be a lot I'm gonna want to say about this? Because like it's pretty much this like they go on loops.
When it came to our 3 movies, the only one that I have anything to say on, and it's all negative, is Left Behind. And I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. Our garbage movie is this stupid Nicolas Cage movie called
Oh,
Left
before we get into
Behind.
that,
Oh
what
my
you
god!
said you said you gave The Hangover a 5 out of 10, right?
I'll rate it a 7 out of 10.
Really? What made you change?
What made me change? Bradley Cooper and his fine body.
Ooh. Then I will give it I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 because of well, actually no, I'll give it a 7. It was a very enjoyable movie. I'll give it a 7 not because it was Bradley Cooper's body, but because of the comedy structure of the movie.
Well, like the only reason why I gave it a 5 out of 10 is because, like I said, I was taught to not necessarily like those raunchy type of movies. Like, I understand the language because I swear like a sailor, but when it comes to like that over the top, I kind of steer clear. The only movies that I've ever been okay with watching are all of Seth Rogen's movies. And that's because they're not so wild and out there, you know what I mean? It's just like here and there. It's tamed. It's mainly just swearing and friends doing a whole bunch of drugs.
Yeah.
So, Hangover's got a 7 out of 10 for me. I love you, Bradley Cooper.
All right, so let's go on. Let's go on to our garbage movie that Lauren said, and that is going to be Left Behind. Left Behind is a movie that's currently on Netflix. So if you want to watch it, you can, but I don't recommend you watch it. It's a movie about a pilot who is going on his way to London while it's his daughter's birthday while she's back in America.
No, not his daughter's birthday. It's his birthday.
It doesn't. It really
Right.
doesn't matter at this point. Like, so it's his birthday. He's on his flight to London. So all the family's going back to JFK Airport, which is nearby to where he lives. And as this is going on, where he's flying to London, this massive just blip happens, where certain people disappear, certain people are on the ground living. All the kids are gone. For some reason, it's all kids. I don't know why.
Well, see, the reason why is because if you look at it from a biblical perspective, because of the fact that it was the rapture.
The rapture. The rupture. It's called the rupture.
The rupture of Jesus Christ. No, the rapture happened. And the reason why all children were chosen is because children are innocent and they don't know any better and they're pure and they haven't really committed any sins and da 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 da. So that's why all the children disappeared. Now, I feel like a lot of the adults that disappeared, that surprised me. Like that means I already knew that the mom was gonna go since she was like all about Jesus and Nicolas Cage and the daughter wasn't.
Basically, if you fully believe in Jesus and Jesus Christ himself, you're gonna go up into heaven for the rapture.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it doesn't make the movie any better. I'm just saying, like, oh, okay, that happens.
Well, it's like nothing happened. Literally, the whole movie was just so fucking slow. Like, I was so ready for this movie to end. I was like, my God, I do not want to watch this anymore. And not only that, but it took forever for something to even happen. And it was like it only happened for like 2 minutes, and then it was like, oh, where's my baby? Where are my children? Where's my friend? Where's my husband? Where's my wife? Da 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 da. And then it's like, after that, they're like, oh man, my wife was right. I've been cheating on my wife with this freaking whore, and she was talking about Jesus Christ, and I just walked away every time.
It's the whole. I kind of like. Okay, everything is bad in this movie. I'm gonna say that right now. The script, the casting,
The
the
background
shots, the
people.
backgrounds.
Oh my god, the editing.
Yeah,
Oh my
basically,
god.
basically the movie consists of Nicolas Cage, who's Nicolas Cage,
Who knows nothing about planes?
knows
All of this
nothing.
was bullshit.
Yeah, knows
All
nothing
of it
about
was
planes.
bullshit. Chad Michael Murray is a terrible actor.
He
I
is a
hate him.
he will look 20 for the rest of his life though.
I know it. I
He
think he
will.
dipped in the fountain of youth.
Yeah. We have the bald dude from Pirates of the Caribbean on the plane.
Yes. Little short guy. He got on my nerves. I was like, dude, shut up. Quit being an asshole. You're racist.
That's why he had barely had any lines in Pirates of the Caribbean. We
They only
have.
wanted him because he's a midget.
I honestly feel that way too.
I mean, honestly.
Like, there's no other reason.
I can't believe they even made us Left Behind 2 and 3, man. The first one was so bad. Like, how did they have the money to keep
They
that
made more.
going? Yes, they made a second one and a third one.
I know they set it up, but I mean, I'm like, this is film pop breaking news right now.
You didn't know they made like a second and third.
No, I don't see where there's
What?
Left Behind 2.
They didn't make a third one? I swear I remember seeing a third one on Netflix.
Left Behind series, maybe? This is film pop breaking news right now. Left Behind movie. Okay. I just looked it up on Google, and it currently has a 1% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow, I mean, it had a budget of $16 million and made $20 million. Yeah.
And the editing was that bad?
I know, it's like how.
Oh my god! They literally just used all the money on Nicolas Cage. The budget was getting Nicolas Cage.
It really was.
Acting.
Yeah, if honestly though, thinking about it, if I was paid like, say, $5 million to do this movie,
I would do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
$5 million? Fuck, let's do it.
Like if you're Nicolas Cage at this point in your career, it's like, oh, whatever.
And then all the time was spent to the plane, and it was like it was so boring. It was so boring.
Did the plane look really big to you for some reason?
Yeah, because of the fact that they over-edited it, man. It's like they literally took a picture of a plane, in my opinion, made it 3D, like a 3D cutout of a plane, and then just put it on like a CGI sky.
Yeah.
And then the editing they did for when they lost the tail or whatever, I don't remember, or it was I think it was one of the engines. I don't remember. But it was terrible.
Where they were losing the fumes?
Yes. And then like
nothing looks good in this movie, just FYI.
And the whole like her like calling out to her mom and like how she was like near death every time, like how so much stuff kept happening to the daughter. Like she almost got hit by that car. She almost got struck by lightning, if I'm not mistaken. And then like she knew that her brother was gone, but yet she was still so focused on finding her brother. That pissed me off. I was like, oh my God, get on with it. You know that he's gone. Like, he's obviously not going to be anywhere. He's not here. Stop looking for him.
I just feel like, too, like this movie is just, I was like watching it and I was just thinking, this is so bad. How far am I into it? And I realized like, I'm like
15 minutes into it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the entire time I was like, oh my God. Or even at the beginning within that 15-minute time span where that woman is like arguing against like, I forget what she's arguing, something religious. And then the daughter steps into the conversation. And it's like, this is not, but my thing with it is like, this is not how normal people interact.
Right.
This is scripted, completely scripted. Your movie should hide the illusion of that.
That movie is like, all they wanted to do was just have nothing but like sentiment and like what's the word that I'm looking for? A memo?
Yeah. I think it is just like worth it that we're talking about it now because could you imagine how Jackson's feeling right now?
Does he like the movie?
No, I don't know. Like, cause I'm assuming he watched it, but he's not like releasing anything on it, so he just watched it for nothing.
Right. Oh God, I feel so bad for him. Yeah,
I
I
know.
didn't
I was just thinking
about
about
that.
that.
Rip Jackson. Go
I
ahead
know.
and like put up a tombstone in the middle of this fucking video
No,
because he
he'll
said
just
that he was gonna take it and re-upload it to his.
no rest in peace because he'll just disappear. His clothes won't disappear, but he'll just go up to the rapture.
Thanos snap rapture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jackson's gonna go into the rapture. Mm-hmm.
And Nicolas Cage will not save him in a plane.
Oh God. You know what? That's gonna be the next JT Dubs film. We're gonna do a Left Behind parody.
Left Behind. It's gonna be a good time.
Left Behind 4. Better than the original with only a $5 budget.
But yeah, that's like the first time we've had laughter talking about this movie.
I think it's because the fact that we're laughing. I literally laughed at a lot of the stuff because it was so bad. It was so bad, it was comical.
Yeah, like every single
Hysterical at that point.
like the cheesy stock music like in the airport and like
The
throughout the
acting.
entire movie. The conversation with the mom and the daughter was really funny. How the daughter
Through the Bible.
through the Bible, how she randomly develops like a friendly relationship with Chad Michael Murray's character.
Oh, how they ended up being like boyfriend, girlfriend.
Already, like in
the
the
day
airport,
that
like
they
that.
met. Yeah.
And then nothing, and then it just goes completely nowhere.
And then they all get off the plane and all they do is just hold hands. And then that's it.
I know. It's like this is just the beginning.
This is it. Like y'all aren't trying to realize what's happening. Like y'all aren't coming up with a plan. You're just gonna stand there. That's it.
That's it. No, because if they did that, then there would have to be more of a movie, and I don't want to watch that.
Did you notice in the scene? I think it was like after something had crashed. I think it was whenever like that. I don't remember if it was a bus or whatever, but like it had fallen off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you notice how all the background people were just running around in circles, wailing their arms? Circles.
That's another thing with the extras in this movie, that they were not well directed as
Like,
extras.
For a $16 million budget, man, you'd think that you'd have better background people, okay?
I feel like a lot of that was in the airport too, because like conversations like at the coffee shop, like could you tell like that? Did you think or anywhere in the airport that there were like too many people walking in one area
Yes.
at a specific
And how,
point in
like, there
time?
were so many people just going up, like the same people going up the escalators.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like it was just like I understand like you have a lot of extras in one area, but then again, you have a $16 million budget. Like hire people to put them in directions.
Have better actors.
Yeah, have Nicolas Cage act in a movie that he wants to really act in and not just do it for money.
Right, exactly.
Because he's proven he's a great actor. He just does a lot of things for money now, and he's just literally in everything.
I think one of the only few movies that I've ever seen that I like Nicolas Cage in is Ghost Rider.
Oh God.
Well, look, hey, when I was a kid, that movie was so cool. Okay, all right, that movie was fire. But and then Guardians of the Galaxy.
He was in that?
Wasn't it Nicolas Cage that played the what's his name?
Who?
Blue guy?
No, that's not Nick. Wait, you mean like what do you mean? Like, are you sure?
Hold on. I'm looking it up right now. Hold on.
I don't recall.
I swear.
But as you're looking that up, I will say that if you do want to see a Nicolas Cage movie that's good, watch Adaptation. This isn't a good movie, but it's extremely entertaining. I'm actually kind of want to review it on here, but it's Face Off or Joe. But yeah, Mandy. I haven't seen it, but I heard it's pretty good. But yeah, those are some Nicolas Cage movies I would recommend that y'all see if you're watching this right now or watching this in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Left Behind is one of those movies that you can watch on Netflix. It's free. But if you want to waste an hour and 15 minutes of your life at any time or point within your own life, feel free to watch Left Behind, because it really is. It might be like one of the top like worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Because it wasn't entertaining. It was only entertaining in certain little points. But yeah, Left Behind made me want to feel left behind in the theater if I were to watch it in there. What does it saying, Lauren?
I'm trying to find it. I'm looking through the cast right now. I guess maybe I'm just wrong. I probably am.
Yeah, I don't recall Nicolas Cage being in
I
Guardians.
swear that he looked like Nicolas Cage.
Are you sure? Like, I remember Sylvester Stallone being in Volume 2, but not Nicolas Cage.
No.
Wait, are you talking about the dude who says I'm Mary Poppins, y'all?
No. That's freaking
Because that's definitely not Nicolas
that's
Cage.
Merle. That's Michael Rooker. Yondu? That's who you're
Yeah,
thinking of.
yeah, that's definitely not Nicolas Cage.
No, I'm thinking of okay, so you remember how in the beginning when he's got the stone and then they all have to grab the stone and he's like, "What? How is this possible?" That guy.
That's not Nicolas Cage at all.
Who is that then?
I don't know, but it's definitely not Nicolas
With all
Cage.
that makeup, that's his doppelganger.
That's not Nicolas Cage though.
Well, I feel stupid. Sorry,
Nicolas Cage is
Philpott
too.
people.
Nicolas Cage was too busy filming Left Behind. He was on to way more important things. Yeah. But Left Behind, Lauren.
0 out of 10.
Last
Yeah,
minute. Yeah.
It don't get nothing from me.
It doesn't get nothing. I'm gonna give it a 0 out of 10 too.
I give it a spit on, man. It was so bad.
Like when we say 0 out of 10, like if we give a movie 1 or like 2 out of 10, at least there was like a tiny redeemable quality in it. I honestly don't feel like there's anything redeemable in it, even if it is so bad, it's so good.
It don't even deserve like a half a star.
No, it was really
1%
bad.
on Rotten Tomatoes. That must have been some people who were made some bot accounts.
It was really bad, y'all.
Yeah, it was bad. I do not recommend Left Behind. I do not.
All right, so that was our new classic and garbage movie. Just to review it again, we reviewed our new movie, which was Spider-Man: Far From Home. Our classic movie was The Hangover, and our garbage movie, which you all just heard, was
Left Behind.
Left Behind. And,
if it could get an award for how bad it was, it would get an award for how bad it was. Like
it truly would.
For the worst movie ever. Left Behind.
Left Behind.
Dun, 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 dun. You tried, gold star. There you go.
So that has been this episode of the Film Pod. Once again, I'm Ivan Lichtenstein filling in for Jackson Wetzel, as he is out right now.
And I am Lauren Gustin.
And we will see you all next time on the Film Pod.
Peace from the Middle East.
Peace.